Right. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, EJ Parker. I'm back. I missed you all. We are live here at Vintage Classic Solutions, where today we'll be looking at a collection of vintage and antique toy rubber cars. How about that? A more obscure kind of toy in some regards. Let me see if I can get some of these in the shot there. All right, cool. Got my coffee. Let me get some things set up. All right. So, welcome to the live stream here. My name is EJ Parker. I'm your host here at Vintage Classic Solutions, where today we are looking at a collection of vintage and antique toy rubber cars. So let me just set some of these up. All right, so this collection I've amassed over the past probably, I don't know, since I was a kid. The reason why I got into antique and vintage items is because of these toy cars. There's a few brands that are I guess, more well known than others. One of the most prominent brands of vintage toy rubber cars is Sun Rubber, which are all of these. Now, these are pre and post World War II. They're made of a thick rubber. They have a great aesthetic. I mean, it's the cracking paint. If you like a crackle kind of style paint on your antiques, these things have it. These are made in Barberton, Ohio. On the bottom, it says, Barberton, Ohio, Sun Rubber. So these have a very futuristic design. These are from, again, the early, mid 1940s. As you can see, these have that great white wheel, right? Super classic. How's it going? Welcome to the live chat. This is just like an impromptu show and tell of these vintage and antique toy rubber cars. I'm your host, EJ. Thanks for joining me. I have a large collection here, so I'll walk you through all these. I've collected these since I was a child. So what got me into antique and vintage items? It's these. How are you, dear love from Asia? I am great. Welcome to Ohio. I miss all my friends in Asia, but thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, EJ Parker. So this is a green Sun Rubber toy van. This dates probably from 1942-ish, give or take. It's a solid piece of rubber. It's quite stiff. It's not like a contemporary rubber where it's like a rubber band. Over time, these have grown stiff from age. The paint does crack. The wheels can chip and fall off. But I just love these colors, right? The colors, I'm a big color person, and these have a great just color scheme. There's some basic ones. There's a few like this that are, two-tone. Let's see. Tarun Pandita asks, are you in Ohio? Yes, I live in Ohio. I used to live in Asia. I used to live in Shanghai, China, and I traveled and worked as a professional musician all throughout Asia. Malaysia, Thailand, Taiwan, all throughout China, Hong Kong. It's been great. So thanks for joining. You live in Ohio? Oh, okay, great. Well, hey, we have that in common. Cool. So let's see here. I love Ohio. All right, cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live chat. My name is EJ Parker. This is live from Vintage Classic Solutions. What I'm showing you today is my personal collection of vintage and antique toy rubber cars from the 1940s and 50s. Now, you ask, why was rubber used? Well, World War II changed a lot of things, right? How things were manufactured. No matter where you live in the world, right? So within the United States, they had to change. Metal was used for the war effort, and rubber was incorporated for toys. Now, the interesting thing is that before World War II, we're talking late 30s, the rubber was a natural rubber. If you can see the details where the paint is missing at the top, this is a natural rubber. After World War II, it shifted from a natural rubber to a synthetic rubber. And you can smell the difference. You can see the difference, right? It's under the paint, it's black. and the wheels are black as opposed to this grayish, whitish, beigeish rubber. So this is post World War II, and this is pre World War II. These are vintage and antique toy rubber cars from the early mid 20th century. All right, let's see here. Thanks for joining. If you like this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe and like. I do this all the time. We look at vintage and antique items. I got a lot more. So check this out. This is also sun rubber. Now this has seen better days. This is a Mickey Mouse mail airplane, a mail delivery plane. Mickey's head's missing, unfortunately, and so is the propeller. I got this as a child in a barn when I was probably 8 or 9. But this can be a desirable toy for those who collect Disney if it's complete. As it is, kind of got a cool aesthetic. It's a beat up chunk of rubber. It does have like a, I think, Mickey airmail. Sun rubber made, Donald Duck and I think some Goofy toys. This was, or I guess is a Donald Duck or a Mickey Mouse mail plane. If you like what you're seeing, go ahead and subscribe and like. My name is EJ Parker. I am your host. John Wick went back to, I think, Russia for assignment, so I'm back in the saddle. This is another sun rubber. Now, this truck never existed. This is a futuristic design from someone's brain at the Sun Rubber Toy Company in Barberton, Ohio. This is great. This is like a pickup truck or whatever. This one did not have the original wheels, so I just stuck on some plastic cheap wheels from whatever. My name's EJ Parker. This is Live Vintage Classic Solutions, a collection look through of vintage and rubber toy cars from the mid 20th century. All right, so this one's quite special. This is the first toy car that Sun Rubber produced. This is their first line, the first model car. It's simply charming. You see it's got an awesome, just simplistic green paint. Again, these are from Barberton, Ohio. Those of you who live in Ohio know that Ohio was a manufacturing powerhouse. The 19th century, early mid 20th century. This is gorgeous. I got this for Christmas a few years ago. It looks almost like it's not even played with. And being from the, late 30s, early 40s, quite remarkable. All right, cool. How's everybody doing? All right, we got a lot to look at. Thanks for joining me. These kind of impromptu collection look-throughs. I want to do it when I'm inspired. You got to strike when the iron's hot. So here we have it. This is a post-war sun rubber bright yellow ambulance. This is great. That kind of like canary yellow. It does pop, right? Toy car collectors love the colors. Right? The colors, if it's Hot Wheel red lines or whatever, Tootsie Toys, these colors are just outstanding. And I guess you can't smell it obviously, but the post-war sun rubber toy cars that are synthetic rubber have a more rubber smell as opposed to the actual natural rubber toy cars that have, it just doesn't smell like rubber. So that's probably from the manufacturing process, comparing natural rubber to synthetic. All right, let's move along here. Some more vintage and rubber antique toy rubber cars from the Sun Rubber Toy Car Company, based out of Barberton, Ohio. That's about, 40 minutes south of where I am right now. This is, I think a dog chewed on this one. And you can see this one quite well, the natural rubber underneath that red paint. It's like a beige, gray color. Now, I got this one as a kid. Now, I kind of told this story yesterday. Those of you who can remember the days before eBay, early 90s, if you were a collector, prices were exaggerated and because you didn't know how many items were out there, because there was no eBay to give you a reference of how rare or how common an item was. So back in the day when I saw these in an antique store, I'd buy them no matter what, because before, this is probably, I got this 1990 when I was 10. There was no eBay, so you just got what you could when you saw them in the wild. And that was kind of like the thrill of the hunt, which in some ways eBay has kind of destroyed, but there's pros and cons, right? I do have an eBay store, Vintage Classic Solutions, where I sell all kinds of wonderful antique and vintage items. I'm your host, EJ Parker. Thanks for checking in. If you like this kind of material, go ahead and subscribe. There'll be a lot more. This is another gorgeous, like a fanciful, futuristic Sun Rubber toy truck. This is not an actual model, but it just looks so cool. This is like part of the allure that got me into these as a kid. That futuristic look, the color scheme. Trying to do it justice here with the lighting. Kind of Art Deco looking, right? Kind of modern, but yet you know it's old, right? So that's what appealed to me as a kid, and it still does an adult. This is what got me into antiques and vintage. You know, I wouldn't be sitting here with you great people if it wasn't for these toys. Now this is another version or another paint scheme of the first Sun Rubber toy car. I think it's a DeSoto, the model. But again, just super gorgeous. These basic colors. Laminar Flow. All right, we got our mod in the house. Laminar Flow is a very great individual that's been helpful. Yesterday we had a nice chat, and they had some really good, insightful tips. So Laminar Flow, bam. Your stepdad collected vintage cars. All right, that's great. Yeah, I mean, it's a very appealing genre, vintage toy cars, no matter where you are in the world. And it's just great to see how each manufacturer had their own little touch and twist to making these. I mean, even down to that little license plate, which is just some random numbers. But I mean, the color schemes, I'm trying to do these justice, just how the paint is worn. These are the late 30s, early 40s Sun Rubber toy cars made of just rubber. Now this one, the black one, is post-World War II. It's synthetic. Pre-World War II, we're looking at the beige natural rubber. Now, parents love these back in the day for obvious reasons, right? I mean, I have kids. If you threw this at your sibling, it's made of rubber, right? Now, I'm imagining, you know, when this was new, it was probably a little bit more supple and soft than it is now. Time has made these a little bit more stiff. But, I mean, it wouldn't scratch your wood floor. It wouldn't scratch the coffee table. You know, you could throw them around. So I can see the appeal, right, as a parent. But it was a necessity, again, because during World War II, no matter where you live in the world, people had to make sacrifices with, you know, daily whatever, you know, rations. This was just shipping, you know, the metal to war efforts, and then people got creative and used rubber to make these toys. There's a lot more. All right, everybody's looking good today. Got my tie on. I tried a little social experiment. If you watch the channel, I'm very casual. I like to, you know, the idea of don't judge anyone based upon their appearance, get to know someone first. But I also realize, you know, I have to be a realist because, you know, though I'm trying not to judge others based upon their appearance, I do know that it's common, you know, it's human nature to do so. So usually I'm all disheveled. I have holes in my jeans and an old t-shirt inside out and stuff. But today I went out, I dressed up. I got my tie on, got my slacks. And I wanted to see what happened. I don't do much. I go to the store, a couple grocery stores. I go to a couple thrift stores during the day. Then I come home and work on YouTube. So what did I notice being dressed up in my suit? Women in the grocery store were a lot more apologetic to get out of my way. As if I'm a Russian mobster about to go to a hit. But first I gotta buy some raspberries. But you better get out of my way. But they were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. I'm like, oh, you're okay. And it kept happening. I'm like, what? I mean, do I look intimidating? I'm just an antique vintage dealer. So just try that as a social experiment. Again, don't judge others. That's how I see it. But folks will judge us. So if you're trying to be creative and get something done, or you have a goal, you want to accomplish something, a dream, just be aware that others will probably judge us based upon how we look. I'm also a professional musician, so I can speak from experience. Just to get a little off topic here, because when I was performing on stage throughout the world with, you know, pop stars, jazz artists, or whoever, I know that the audience, be it big, small, or whatever, would judge you before you played one note. So as you're walking up to the stage, you have your instruments under your arm. The audience and the manager of that venue is already judging you. Oh man, if you look good, they're like, man, this band was worth every cent I paid for them. If you look, you know, just not smart or slick, they're gonna be like, oh man, did I screw up? Are these guys just gonna like rob me and just, you know, whatever? So I realized you gotta pick and choose your battles. So, and when I was performing a lot more, I spent a lot of money on clothes because I realized that it helped amplify my voice and my creative vision. So I mean, You know, don't judge. I try not to judge others. I make it a mental exercise when I go out, not to judge others, right? But I realize I am being judged, even on YouTube. I've realized that when I was doing that John Wick spoof, people say, "Oh, you look like John Wick." Okay, so I went with it. I just put my suit on, a black suit, and I realized it kept the trolls at bay. Like no one was like, "Hey, you look like an idiot. You look like Howard Stern on crack." All this stuff. It all magically went away. So people were judging me based upon my appearance. I got these rings on, I got a tie, I might be in the Russian mafia. You want to fuck with me, right? But no, I'm a friendly antique and vintage dealer. So back on track. And if you like this kind of material, just motivational, positive energy. We don't get political. We are creative, thinking outside the box to help each other reach our goals. And my goal is to share these lovely antique and vintage toy cars. My name's EJ Parker. If you like this kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe and like. I do this all the time. I'm devoting all of my creative energy to you because I get it back. It's a symbiotic relationship. I can feel your energy. I'm serious. This is great. This is a race car, like a old school convertible. These white wheels. Now, Sun Rubber shows this silver color scheme quite often, and it looks just great. It kind of has like a Zeppelin blimp look to it, Art Deco, really cool. The fins are always broken on these, as you can see. Laminar flow, looking sharp. Thank you, I appreciate that, and so are you. This is probably worth around, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks. They're not that expensive, but again, they're fun to find. It's something I have a passion about. And I think half that is because of how the paint looks under that rubber. Here's another silver coupe. This one, as you can see here, is missing. There's a little hitch for a trailer. So this would pull a trailer, which I'm missing. The trailer is quite valuable in the realm of vintage and antique Sun Rubber toy cars. I got this one for Christmas probably when I was 10, and I've loved it ever since. That's why I'm a vintage and antique dealer. This little item. But there's one car in here that's the most special, and I'll show you that whenever I find it. All right, let's see what. No, okay. So this is another gorgeous coupe. Look at this color, just that cream top, and how the age has speckled it with uniqueness, as it does all of us. If you're vintage, good for you, meaning you're 20 years or older. If you're antique, meaning you're 100 years or older, great for you. How'd you do it? I met a gentleman let me share a story with you as we admire these gorgeous cars. I frequent flea markets, and where I live, we have a large Amish population. The Amish flea market is great because you never know what you're going to find. Primitives, old-fashioned rifles, anything. So there's a gentleman there that is 95 years old, and he is there like clockwork before people half his age, and he's always there every Monday selling. And I asked him, I said, what's the secret to life? You're 95, how'd you do it? And he told me this: you need to go to a lot of flea markets. And I'm like, cool, I do that all the time. And I thought about that message. And I think what he meant was you got to stay busy, right? You got to have a passion, a drive that makes you want to go every morning. I get up out of bed like that, and I get to work in my store. I do my morning motivation with all you wonderful people. My name is EJ Parker, here live, Vintage Classic Solutions, vintage toy car look through. If you like this kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe and like. We do this all the time. We got some great mods in the house. Laminar Flow, the Mod Squad. Now this is, let me see, this one is an Auburn rubber. This is out of Indiana, Auburn, Indiana. So this is a rival to Sun Rubber. And if we can do a comparison, though we see similarities, there is difference. I know you can't feel it, but the Sun Rubber is a bit thinner and flimsier. This one is probably, I'm going to guess this one, it's got to be probably a little bit pre-World War II. Look at this car. I wish cars still looked like this. Now cars are becoming like this kind of crossover. It's kind of like an SUV. It's like a blob, right? It's kind of lost these gorgeous fenders, and I don't know. I wish cars were all. I wish cars. I want to get an old-fashioned car eventually. Whenever I get some money, I want to buy a car from the 40s or 50s, and I don't care if it's beat up. I like them actually. I like cars that are rusty. So let's jump ahead a little bit in time. This is a vintage toy fire truck from the Auburn Rubber Company. Now, this is probably 50s, 1950s, right before those cheap plastic toy cars really took over the market, pretty much everywhere. This is like a vinyl. If this one, you can squeeze it. These you can find at garage sales and whatnot. You know what I mean? 1950s, maybe 60s, and then it went to plastic. Auburn Rubber went out of business, I think, a long time ago. They also made these kind of squeaky toys, those like those plush dolls with like the rubber face. Sun Rubber and Auburn Rubber also made those kind of toy collectibles, which are becoming very, very expensive on the market. So, for example, if you have one of those poodles, I think I have one in my store right now, but like a mid-century poodle, or like a bear that's plush and then the face is rubber, those are worth a good amount of money. And in some cases, like, hundreds. So, I mean, if you got one of those, or if you're a dealer, keep your eyes open for those. Folks are looking to recapture that magic. All right, if you like this kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe and like. My name is EJ Parker. I am your host. This is my channel and my life and my antique and vintage store. This is cool. This one I acquired probably a year or two ago. This is a bit more rare. It's a Sun Rubber airplane. This is World War II era. It's got those bombs at the base. Now, these are a bit rare because they always break, right? If you stored them in the attic, the wings would warp. The propellers are always missing. It's so cute and charming. It's made of, this is rubber. It's the texture. I like textures. So this is a quite unique texture. It's definitely stiff, but you can tell it's an old rubber because there is a little bit of give to it. This one's probably $30, give or take. You don't see these out in the wild. They're just not as commonly come across as like the cars and trucks. So that's a Sun Rubber airplane. Let's see what else we got. This one is another later one. This is Auburn Rubber. Someone took a bite out of that. Yum. How about that? This is old school. Is that a Cadillac? I'm not sure. But this is like probably like 1955. A vinyl cheap toy car. This is right before plastic. I love planes. Got any boats? That's a good question. I do have some Tootsie toy metal boats, but I do want to get laminar flow. I do want to get some Sun Rubber and Auburn Rubber toy ships, like battleships, but those are really rare. You don't see them, but they got a great aesthetic. They kind of look like they've warped in the middle. They're kind of like that shaped. I don't know. It's got like a charm to it. It's got like a Dr. Seuss kind of vibe. I don't know. Let me see what else I got. Okay, this is cool. People collect these a lot. People on motorcycles, bikers, police officers. This one I got at a toy train show probably when I was 11, back in 1991. This is an Auburn Rubber police officer on a motorcycle. Super classic. Come on, that color scheme. I mean, it's a simpler time, folks. This is probably from 1952, if I had to take an educated guess. This is like a bendy vinyl. It's not that stiff old school rubber. This is a more contemporary feeling toy, but it's not plastic. These are collectible. People that love bikes are very passionate about it. This kind of genre, there's guys and gals that just collect the bike toy. You see these like cast iron ones. They would show those on American Pickers a lot. Hubley would make them with like these big fat rubber white tires and cast iron, so it just got this really great look to it. I think there were some Popeye ones as well. They're really collectible, the biker toy. All right, if you like this kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe and like. I'm your host, EJ Parker. This is my personal collection of vintage and antique toy rubber cars. All right. Hello, everybody. We are live. What's up, Sinner? Yeah, I remember you. Yo. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you're doing great wherever you are. I'm just exploding with energy for YouTube. It's a symbiotic relationship. The more I go live, the more I get to know all of you. And I feel like we are building something. And it's something for all of us creative thinkers, us that have goals and passions and dreams that may not be cookie cutter. We may have goals and passions that are maybe a little bit out of the ordinary, but that's great because you know what? The world needs you and your passion more than ever. So let your light bright shiner than a million suns. All right, back to toy cars. This is a great one. I got this in Texas probably when I was like, I don't know, 10 or 9. This thing is beat to hell, but I love it. That crackle paint drives me wild. Like a moth to a flame. This thing is just, I don't know, something about it. Now this one has a scent. This smells like rubber. This one also doesn't have a maker's mark. Oh, pardon me, it does. All rubber, but it doesn't tell me where. I don't think it's Auburn rubber. It's a more obscure maker. I do have a publication dedicated to these kind of toys, which has been very useful, that I think I do show on my channel, or I mean to. It's a book dedicated to vintage toy rubber cars. I don't have it nearby, otherwise I'd break that out. But this is a great looking chunk of rubber. All right. My name's EJ Parker. I am your host here at Vintage Classic Solutions. Thank you for joining me as we look through this vintage and antique toy vehicle collection. Now this is another Auburn rubber toy car. Auburn was great because they always, where is it? They always put a little driver in their vehicles. They were thoughtful enough to include a driver, where Sun Rubber didn't get that realistic. This is probably from, I'd say, probably late 40s, maybe mid 40s. Again, if it's a black rubber that smells very rubbery, then it's probably post World War II by a few years. And if it's a white, more beige rubber, it's a natural rubber, believe it or not. I find rubber a fascinating material. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of where I live. I live about, I don't know, like 40 minutes north of Akron, Ohio, which is a rubber city. Goodyear is still based there. They make tires. Why is it the rubber city? I forget. It's probably based upon the location or whatever. But then Barberton, Ohio, which is right near Akron, made these Sun Rubber toy cars. So it's in my neck of the woods. Maybe that's why I caught the bug as an antique collector and dealer as a child, because these things, you know, if you live around where something is produced, you're just more prone to find it. And I'm lucky enough to live in Ohio, where basically we were like the China for the world in like the late 19th and early 20th century. Ohio made glass, rubber, pottery, steel. I mean, it just goes on forever. And this is one of those items. This is a rubber toy car made in Barberton, Ohio. I would love to go live from Barberton, like go drive down there and like find where this factory is. I'm not sure if it's still even there, the Sun Rubber toy car factory, but go there and pay my respects. I love these colors, the blue and that beige. All right, let's move along. So this is a more obscure maker here. I believe this is rainbow rubber. Rainbow rubber is not as common as Sun Rubber and Auburn rubber. I've only found one of these in my life out in the wild, just to kind of give you a clue. It just feels really solid. This would break if you try to bend it. I don't know if you're older than me. When these were new, were they flexible and supple, or were they always kind of like stiff? Because these can chip if you break it, or if you drop it, because even though it's rubber, they've stiffened from time. You can see the wheels. I think this is a natural rubber from a rubber tree. How cool is that? Bam. Yeah, go ahead and ask questions. Laminar flow is very good with this. I can tell already we have a very good dynamic. I sell antique and vintage items. So if you have a question, or like, hey, EJ, do you have any antique vases? I have stuff everywhere. I'm surrounded by stuff. Sometimes I give people stress from watching my channel. They're like, oh my God, this is too much clutter. But this is my job. I'm an antique dealer. These are kind of like my magic tricks. If I'm a magician, I got to have tricks to show my audience. I'm a dealer, so I have to have items to show you guys. If I sell them all, I would just be here without my lovely items. So I kind of got to pick and choose what I sell and what I keep. And these are what I keep. Let's move along. So this table is getting full of all these awesome vintage and rubber toy cars, as you can see. All right. Well, let me see what else I got. All This one is not a rubber toy car, but this is a GoBot from the 1980s, a super GoBot. I don't know how that got in there. This is Future Machine, aka Psycho. This is from 1983, I believe. This is not rubber, but it does have rubber wheels. I paid $12 for that, probably at some vintage toy store. Cool. If you like this kind of stuff, go ahead and like and subscribe. My name is EJ Parker. I am your host. This is my channel, Vintage Classic Solutions, where we look at all things antique and vintage, and even newer things that are classic. All right, so look at this. This is a Hubley plane. It's not rubber, but it's in the collection, so I got to show it. This is it's die cast with these rubber wheels. I'm assuming this is probably right after World War II. It's got a pretty cool color scheme. I got this probably when I was 11 years old back in 1991 from a local antique store. Support your local antique dealers. I mean, think about it. It's family-owned business. Usually they're helping, recycle things around us, and it's, the money stays in your little community no matter where you live, right? So this is a Hubley plane. These are very collectible. I haven't priced this in a very long time. It could be worth $45, give or take, maybe a little bit more. The items that I keep in my personal collection, I don't really price them out. I'm not like looking every month to check the prices. When it comes to things that I do sell, now that's a different story. But I collect these for just the aesthetic beauty and joy. As, maybe you should do, I mean, I don't want to tell you what to do, but when you collect stuff, it should be for fun, right? Like, it should make you happy. And, if you turn around and sell a few, make some money here and there, well, that's cool too, All right, so what else do I got? I think that box is empty. So this is the collection of the rubber toy cars. These are at the bottom of the box, just for honorable mention. These are vintage Timex Iron Man watches. You remember those things, right? Timex. These were omnipresent in the late 80s. The Indiglo. I used to buy and sell these a lot on eBay. They're really collectible, and if they're in good condition with the box and they work, you can probably get $100 or more. For some reason, during COVID-19, freaking love these watches. All right, Laminar Flow, we're a good team. I used to have a ton of these in my eBay store, and what's it called? The Indiglo was a groundbreaking technology. It would illuminate your little screen there, and it would glow green. So when you were like 11 years old, you could lay in bed and check the time, and it was a big deal, right? That glowing backlight screen. And Timex had really good commercials, and they're just kind of memorable. But yeah, Timex watches. Now these I noticed during COVID-19, I bought a ton of these because I think what happened was, at least in the U.S., folks were stuck at home. They were rummaging through their belongings, and they found all these old watches that they didn't like or didn't want, and they sold them on eBay, and I would buy a lot of them. I bought quite a few. I still have, this one's on the stand. That's a little time capsule, right? Check that out. My name is EJ Parker. We are live here at Vintage Classic Solutions. Go ahead and subscribe and like if you haven't already. If you like this kind of stuff, I have another watch somewhere. Yes, check this out. This one I actually wear. I keep it real, folks. This is a special Iron Man. Now let me show you that Indiglo. Let me see. Indiglo, where's my button at? Is that it? Yeah. All right, so let me try to do this. Bang. Indiglo, can you see it? Sorry. It's faint, but it's there. It lights up, it's green. This is like the deluxe Iron Man for the concerning customer. I bring this when I'm out like jumping in rivers, looking for bottles or fossils because I don't want to mess with my phone, even though it's waterproof. I do bring my phone in the shower, as you may know if you watch my shorts. But this is like my go out in the mud, but still look vintage and stylish, right? All right. Do they still have these on eBay? Yeah. I don't think I have any in the store. I'm gonna put some more on my store. Thanks for that motivation, Laminar Flow. I'm sitting on a few of these, more than a few, but these are a little bit more tedious because I have to go in and clean them, and I have to remove the backs. These screws. I mean, it's a tedious job, and I have all the batteries, so I'll replace the batteries, test it, clean it in one of those sonic cleaners that I have, and then I sell them. I often replace the straps if they're broken with new straps that are Timex, the actual Timex brand, so it's still an authentic Timex piece. And I let the customers know it's a replacement strap. I'm always 100% honest with that stuff. But the issue with watches is, used watches, you got to clean them, and it can be kind of nasty. I mean, you get them on eBay or wherever, a flea market, you get them home, there's just crust and dry skin. It's kind of nasty, but you got to do it. You got to clean it. I mean, otherwise, if you're going to resell it, you can't ask as much money. I haven't checked the prices on these in a while, but I'm sure they're going up. I mean, I think in 2000, maybe 17 or 18, like a really good vintage Timex, and you could date these, by the way, would go for maybe like $75 or more. But if you price it and take your time, you get them for less. Usually the dealer will say, oh, I have this old Timex and it doesn't work. Just buy it, and then most of the time it's just a battery you got to replace, and that's not too hard of a thing to do, and then your watch will work. What was I going to say about this? Oh yeah, so for you watch people and dealers and collectors, there's a date code on these Timex watches, so you can actually pinpoint the date. This one is B3, and there are folks there's a website that will tell you what B3 is, like 1993 March. So if you want to date your Iron Man watch, first bring it to a movie and then to the park. No, I'm kidding. You can date these on the back by just a simple date code, and there are websites that decipher the date code for you, which is great, right? Because as a vintage and antique dealer, and if you are as well, that's awesome. And if you collect things, I always want to find the date of an item, just because it helps me have some, I don't know, some closure or some finality to something about the item. But unless you have either the original package, which says the date on it, or you have a Sears and Roebuck catalog from 1902, you really can't date things exactly unless you know someone that was older than you that had that item. So we try our best, and I think as collectors, that's the fun part, learning about the item. We make mistakes, right? Like, for example, with this bottle, you're probably rolling your eyes again with EJ and his bottle. So this is a bottle from, at first when I got this about a week ago, I thought it was I got excited. I'm like, oh, 1620s, but actually it's 1720s. I think I confused 17th century and 1700s. Anyhow, so I made a mistake, but it got me deeper into this bottle. I did research at night in bed before I went to sleep about, this hoof shape, and I come to the conclusion that it's not quite 1630s. It's probably 1720s or 1730s, which is still old as hell. This is my horse hoof onion bottle, Dutch origin, that I'm in love with. I just collect bottles because I just love their uniqueness. And glass, to me, is just frozen, like a frozen moment. All right, so that is the toy collection. So there's more, folks. There's a lot more. Let me just kind of pack these things up. Freaking love these watches, yeah. Those Timex watches, everything about them. The color scheme are great. If you live near a flea market, you can really find them. You just got to go out and look. You can find anything. You just need the energy and the time, right? And that goes for eBay as well. You can get deals on eBay, because you got to realize not everyone on eBay is a savvy collector or dealer like you and me, right? Some folks just want to get rid of stuff. Some folks don't care. They're like, just get rid of it. You know what I mean? And I love those folks. When I go to a barn sale, which there's many barn sales around the area where I live, the owners or the person selling the stuff, when they're like, what is it? Just take it. That's great, because that helps me, buy more items and research them and get them on my store to the people that need them. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I'm packing these up. Other plans for Vintage Classic Solutions, my channel. I'm on my goal to reach 1,000 subscribers by this Christmas. I think I'm gonna get to that hopefully in a few days. I'm working very hard to produce content that appeals to my wonderful audience. I'm building a team of fantastic, gorgeous, and talented moderators from around the world. If you think you can help me as a moderator, just ask, because I'm really building this, and I'm gonna do it. We're gonna go all the way to the top. Now, where's the top? Well, stick with me. We're gonna find out. My name is EJ Parker here at Vintage Classic Solutions. I am your host. This is my channel. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. I am packing up these vintage and antique toy cars for the next collection. And this next collection is a bit more eclectic. So you stick around and you're gonna find out. This next collection is not as old as these 1930s and 40s toy cars, but it might strike a nostalgic chord with some of you. And for the rest of you, it may just be something, a new thing to discover. So these are, let me get these out of the way here. All right. So those are out of the way. Now let's move to this next collection here. All right, so these, I can speak to the date and age a little bit more because this is from my time and era. I was a kid of like the late 80s, early 90s, and these are kind of like from that. So these are awesome. These are mechanical servant vending machine toys that you would get at a vending machine at a truck stop. And the material, I've done research on these. For some reason, they all seem to be coming from New Jersey. And as a kid, when I went to New Jersey on a road trip, that's where I got these. So there's something about, I think these were made in Hong Kong, and they had some channel to be shipped to New Jersey, and then they went directly to these vending machines. And then that's how you bought them. So imagine yourself in 1985, you're 5 or 6 years old, you're bored to hell on a road trip. You stop at a truck stop with your mom and dad, and you go up to the vending machine, and behold, in front of you is a vending machine not full of raisins or orange juice or M&Ms. It's full of toys. Before Wi-Fi, before cell phones, toys. So it made your day. You would get a couple quarters, and then you would get these toys. So let's look inside. It came in these boxes too, so it was kind of like a big deal. I don't know what's in this one. Oh, this is a good one. This is awesome. What a way to start. Now, this is new old stock, by the way. This is probably from 1978. This is a shrunken voodoo head. This is a little toy charm that you would get in a vending machine in the late 70s and early 80s. It's made of rubber. It's just ugly as hell. This appeals to Halloween collectors and, I mean, people like me. I don't know if I could categorize myself as a Halloween. I mean, I collect everything. But this can be, you know, toy, monster. It's got a little bell just to add to that charm and allure. This got like this string hair, like this decrepit rubber head, and it got that rubber smell. It's made in Hong Kong, so you know it's good. It could be like a finger topper. It's just these quirky little toys. Look at this little box. And in my opinion, boxes are the best. So let me read some of the verbiage for you. Mechanical servants, here to serve you when you need them. Distributed by Mechanical Servants, Incorporated, Chicago, Illinois. Made in Hong Kong, a quality product. So look at this. I mean, I just love this. Everything about this is just consumeristic and service and quality and all that jazz just for some stupid little rubber toy. I love it. I love it. It's over the top. And then for those keeping score at home, this is number 1700, Shrunken Head. I love it. Everything about I love the box, I think, more than the toy itself. And there's more. So away this little shrunken head goes. Now, I got this on eBay a few months ago. I wanted to build a collection of these. I think this is like $20. And then there's something going on. I think they discovered like a bunch of these online or somewhere. So you can find these little shrunken heads on eBay probably right now. And they're probably like $20. So those are affordable. Let me see what else we got. We have this mechanical servant toy. Let's check this out together. My name is EJ Parker. I am your host here at Vintage Classic Solutions. John Wick was in last night filling in for me, thankfully. This is a plastic toy cheap mouse. Now this is a charming toy from a bygone era, folks. Simpler times. This has a little lead spool that you would wind up. You would place it in the bottom of your toy mouse like so, and then you would crank this ripcord and let the damn thing rip. Do this and it would take off and scare your sister or your mom or whoever. A plastic toy mouse that you could buy in a vending machine in the early 80s and probably mid-late 70s. How cool is that? Oh, simpler times. I love these little things. That's the toy mouse. Let's move along, shall we? Let's see what's in this one. The box kind of makes it fun to rediscover your collection too, because you're not sure what's what. Another quality product box. It's upside down. Sorry about that. There we go. That awesome. It looks like a mid-century graphic. You know, even though these are like 70s or 80s, it looks more like 60s and 50s. All right, what is this one? Let's see. It's number 1704. What? I love it. This is a damn smoking monkey. It's a charm. It's a smoking monkey charm. It's made of plastic, and it's got a cigarette. Isn't that funny? It was like a finger. I don't even know what it is. Like a finger puppet. It's a finger puppet smoking monkey. So in the back of the car, when you're on your road trip, when you're 5 years old, you can entertain yourself with a smoking monkey. And I think this is an actual paper cigarette. I don't know what it does. If you can like, it doesn't like blow out. There's no hole like a bubble gun. It's just a cheap plastic smoking monkey. I love it. And it's got a box. So that's a great thing. Let's see, that's made in Hong Kong as well. Let's see, let's move along. There's a few more here. Let's see what we got. All right. Oh wait, see, this is so funny. That box of the smoking monkey, it's even got like extra cigarettes. It kind of like an extra like rolled up rolling paper. It's so funny. You gotta make sure I don't lose that. God dog it. That's funny. Extra cigarette for your monkey. All right. Moving along this collection of late 20th century vending machine toys. I'm your host, EJ Parker, here at Vintage Collect Solutions. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. This box is awesome. This is also made in Hong Kong. Oh, I know this. You know, you may have seen these. These you see at flea markets and whatever. This is a small toy car puzzle keychain. You see these out in the wild. I know you've probably seen one of these before. Now you know what it is and where it came from. It's a puzzle. Now I'm sure these things just, were lost within 2 seconds of opening when you're 5 years old in the back of the car, but so be it. Your little keychain, and it's a puzzle, and the wheels actually work. It's a little rolling car keychain puzzle. So there you go. That's that. Let me see here. The sun's coming out here in Ohio, which is nice. Hope it's sunny where you are. All right, now see, this is what happens. Now this is what I mean. Now here's a puzzle that's not been built. And poor little kid that got this 50 years ago, you open it up and you lose everything instantly. So it's all little pieces. This is like a toy dump truck that has yet to been built. So let me put that back in there. Man, this is such small pieces. Oh my God. All right. Yeah, key number 1348 keychain puzzle truck. So that is, get that thing back in there. I think I love the boxes more than the item, because I don't collect. I'm not an in-the-box collector. Some of you may be collectors that collect things in, mint in the box. Not me, but these things I had to get in the box because the box is just it's so awesome. All right, let me move along here to some other honorable mentions. So this is not things that fit into the vintage and antique rubber toy car collection that we just looked at. The next items you're about to see do not fit into these mechanical servant genre of toys, but they are honorable mentions that I need to get in front of your gorgeous eyes. So let me just put these away so I don't lose them. I think I featured these in a YouTube short a few months ago. Or it could have been an actual video. Because I think this is a really interesting genre of collectibles. And if you do, now you collectors who do like antique and vintage things that are in the box, that are on a budget, these are a great little collectible because these are all like $20 or less. So if you want like a vintage toy in the box with a little quirkiness to it, These are really affordable. So, and you can build a collection and not, break the bank. All right, let me show you some honorable mentions before we move along. So this is a rubber toy gorilla. Cheap, generic, and vintage. Now this one was from a flea market. These toys have a certain charm and allure just because I think their simplistic nature. I think it's probably a King Kong ripoff, right? Definitely. There's no maker's mark. These are collectible. I mean, if you're not aware of that, people like me buy and sell these. I think it just kind of strikes a nostalgic chord. Check this out. This is cool. I featured this, I think, even in a YouTube poll and maybe a short. This is a new old stock carnival prize. Carnival prizes have a great charm to them, even today. They're so cheaply produced, and they just have a nostalgic charm. It's like a cheap thing you'd carry around the fair. This is a squirrel, a jiggler rubber squirrel that I bought from a dealer in New York City. They came across a warehouse full of new old stock carnival prizes. That's like a dream come true for me, folks. They did, and they found a bunch of these, and I bought a bunch of them. This is like a cheap made in Hong Kong rubber squirrel that you would win at a carnival, probably like in the 60s. It's so random. All right, cool. Now check this out. Let's go to Mexico. I love it. This Shofi. All right, we got a mod squad. All right, we're doing great. Good to see you. Life is good, Shofi. Life is good. I hope you're doing well. This is a Mexican-made knockoff. Heroes de la Lucha Libre. This is... Who is this? This is Lionel, right? Look at this. Behold. You like colors? Look at that carrot orange Lionel. Look at this damn thing. I love it. Look at those eyes. He's possessed. He's going to reach his goal. He is possessed. Lionel is going to achieve his goal. This metallic paint, his blonde hair. Now look at this. His sword of omen. Look at that. And his claw. What was that claw called? Those are accessories, right? And it kind of clips on his hand. This is from Mexico that I purchased from a dealer in Mexico. I'm assuming it's non-toxic because it says right there, no toxico. And it has these great, just generic wrestlers, right, on these things. I love these vintage, or this isn't even vintage. I think these are like more contemporary. There's no date on this, I don't think. No, there's no date. It's just no toxico. Heroes de la Lucha Libre. I splurge once in a while. I don't go on vacations. I don't buy fancy cars. I buy knockoff bootleg toys from Mexico. And that's why I have no money. But I'm happy. And I hope you're happy too. If you're happy, go ahead and subscribe and like. My name is EJ Parker here with the Mod Squad. We have an international, gorgeous group of mods from around the world to help assist in our mission. And our mission is to think creative, open the box of thoughts, help each other, support each other, solve problems, creative ways to solve everyday problems. I think my newest short on YouTube is a solution that I came across to. I needed a new phone stand. Right now, what you're watching, I just used an old jug and a wire phone stand. Anyhow, the point is, let's think outside the box. Let's be creative. Sometimes we may find ourselves surrounded by others who may not be creative, who may try to dissuade you. I am here to counterbalance them and say, yes, you can. But you have to have a drive and determination that burns inside you brighter than a million suns. And I know you have it. And if you don't have it, you can find it. I was fortunate because I found my music and antique at a very young age because I was exposed to those things. So maybe you need to expose yourself to other things. Maybe you need to take yourself out of your comfort area, right? Take yourself out of a comfort zone, meet new people, try new foods, go to a place where you're a complete stranger and then try to get lost. When I lived in China, when I was new there, I would try to get lost in Shanghai, China, a city of 22 million people. I bought a motorbike and I jumped on it and just drove. What did I find? I found everything. I found an antique street called Donghu Lu. Shanghai had an antique street called Donghulu, a whole pedestrian street full of antiques. Most of them were fake, but when I found it on that mission to get lost in a foreign country, I loved it. And it's etched in my memory and in my soul forever. Even though that street's been torn down and gentrified, unfortunately. I mean, I was there, they tore that street down and I cried. My point is, if you try to get lost, you may find yourself. And you may alienate the people around you, but that's okay. Because at the end of your life, the only person that should be happy is you. Because if you try to please others, you just may be on a fool's errand. Because there's no way to prove you can please them. And that person may not even want to be pleased. So you must please yourself. And in doing so, I'm willing to bet you'll please others around you and others that think just like you. If you like that kind of thought process, go ahead and subscribe and like. I just feel inspired, you know, because I'm achieving my goals, and this channel will be a testament to it. And if you're a part of it, then you will join me as we have a trip to the moon. I think we're going beyond the moon. So this is a spectacular, I think it's probably within the last 20 years, knockoff Lino. I'm gonna keep it in the package because that adds the charm and allure. I have more. I got more. There's a box here before you filled with magical and mystical items. What's inside? We're about to find out together. Oh wow, cool. So this is it. Holy crap. So when I was probably 5, when I went to that truck stop and got these mechanical servant toys when I was probably 5 in New Jersey, this is what I got. Certain things from my childhood and managed to slip through the cracks of time and make it to now. This is a toy I got when I was probably 5 in New Jersey. It came in a box. It's a rubber jiggler white mouse, and it actually has a maker's mark. I think this company's called Gigantor. It's a weird company out of Hong Kong. But that is my actual childhood toy. Wow. What else we got in here? This is cool. All right, so this is, what is this? Oh wow, this fits with our topic today. This is a vintage, I think it's a rubber farmer, and this could be Auburn rubber out of Indiana. It smells like it could be synthetic though. So this is probably mid-40s, probably from a farm set. I bought this on eBay simply because it looks cool. It's got this mysterious, I like the design, his overalls, and it's just kind of got this mid-century vibe to it. The construction worker. Yeah, he's got like a tool there. Some kind of something, paddle or shovel. I don't know, I like it. Let's see what else we got. All right, here we got a Gumby. Gumby we all know and love. This is probably, I don't know. How old is that one? Probably 80s. It's made in Hong Kong. Probably early 80s. This is a cool toy. This is a crash test dummy. This is from the 90s. These were really fun toys because you put them like a toy car and you hit this button and they would fall apart. And it kind of taught kids, you know, hey, you got to buckle up to be safe. So it had a good message. These were really fun though. My brother and I had these when we played with them. You would throw the car off the stairs and then it would explode and these heads would pop off and their bodies would come apart. Hence the incompleteness of, what's his name? This is Vince. These were really cool in the early 90s and the 80s. These would become collectible, these crash test dummies. And the challenge is to get them complete because they're always falling apart. I mean, it's hard to get a complete one. All right, what is this? These are slush toys. This is a potpourri of vintage and antique items. My name is EJ Parker. I am your host. We're joined by the fabulous mod squad. Thank you, my wonderful mods, as we plow through this collection of eclectic greatness. Slush toys are cheap metal penny cars, kind of like. These are awesome. Now, cars are cool because you can date them based upon the design or the model. So this is probably, I don't know, teens, late teens, early 20s. You know what I mean? These, I love this, how you have these two openings. That's just part of the making process. Again, super cheap metal poured into a mold, and then that was it. And these are pre-World War II. And then, World War II, the toys became rubber for, for war purposes and material purposes and all that stuff. So the toys reflect that. These toys are from these are early. These are before World War II. These are weird. These are called Dapper Dan, I think. I bought these on eBay a while ago and I forget why. And I think the character is called Dapper Dan. I don't know. Let's see. These are die cast. Happy. Yes, the mods, best movie clips, Shofi, Laminar Flow. The mod squad is connecting, just like Voltron. That's going to extend your power and amplification as well as the channel. So I thank you for your help. We're going to build this, and we will have a meeting. I'm working on the logistics of this with my Nightbot, so we can have the mods, combine their power and their collective energy. So we will have meetings. And if you want to become a mod for the channel, let me know, because the more we have together, the more power we have, and we can help each other solve problems, amplify our creativity, and just achieve our goals together. My goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers by Christmas. I'm going to achieve my goal. Are you? Yes, you are. If you have determination, you can do it. You can do anything. I moved to China with $600 in my pocket as a 23-year-old man. When I left China, I had a family. I bought a house in the U.S. And the whole time, everyone told me I couldn't do it. You couldn't play music for a living. You could never afford a house if you do this for a living. And I proved everyone wrong. So can you. When everyone tells you you cannot, I have your back. When folks tell me I cannot do something, it galvanizes my determination, because I spend a lot of time by myself, thinking out my ideas for the next 5 years. I spend a lot of time in my shop alone. Now I hit go live and I share it with you because I think I can offer something, and I think I can learn from you. To amplify our power and our creative energy, I think it's good to be together. And I live in a very small town at the moment. You may live in a small town or a big city. Let me see here. But when we connect and collect our energy and our ideas and our problem-solving abilities and our eclectic ways to think out of the box and use our imagination and not judge others based upon appearance or religion or socioeconomic backgrounds or politics, right? To see the big picture, you know what I mean? That's why I almost wish we were invaded by aliens. If a UFO came down, it may make us as a human race realize we're all in this together. I mean, the color of the skin is very superficial, right? Let's see. We have the mod squad diligently working amongst themselves. That is so awesome. I love it. My name is EJ Parker. This is Vintage Classic Solutions. We're doing a live look through of an eclectic collection of vintage and antique toys. Any questions, let me know. If you like this kind of stuff, go ahead and like and subscribe. There's more. Check this out. This is a gorgeous Tootsie toy, an American company. This is a Greyhound bus. I've lived, slept, loved, and cried on a Greyhound bus. I spent nights on a Greyhound bus, days on a Greyhound bus, touring the nation. This is a gorgeous toy from, I think, the late 20s, I want to say. It's got a separate piece. It's a two-piece body with axle and these super charming white wheels with those hubs. This toy has just got that futuristic streamline look. That is so cool. That is so cool. That one was purchased on eBay for, I think, no, this is bought at a local vintage toy store. I love to support my local toy stores whenever I can, and this is from there. This was from my father's collection when he was a child. I don't have many of his toys, but this is one of them. This was tucked away in a train collection in New York City, and we retrieved this back in the 80s. This is made in England. This is a gorgeous toy. It's got advertisements, your quintessential British double-decker bus. Let's see. Shofi, yeah, it's double-decker bus. I rode these in Hong Kong. with the the British influence in Hong Kong. Yeah, and this has friction as well. So if you were to roll this on the table, it will move. These are collectible. This I haven't priced this in a while. I won't sell this, being nostalgic. But you see just the gorgeous detailing and stuff on this. That's super awesome. Very awesome toy. Put that there. All right. So the rubber toys aren't quite over yet. Here is a gorgeous fire truck, mid 20th century, made by Auburn Rubber. They had various scales of their toy cars and trucks and fire trucks. Their fire trucks are kind of iconic. From all these glorious just details, you can see the axe and the hoses and the ladders. It's just one chunk of rubber, as you can see. The wheels have fallen off, and I think as a kid I did that. I got this probably when I was 10. I've been collecting these toys since I was a child. For some reason, I was into these things as a youngster, and I still am as an oldster. All right. This is gorgeous. You like Tiffany's? Tiffany blue Tootsie Toy tow truck. This is probably from the 1940s, late 40s, early 50s. It's got a metal hook. I'm sure that's dangerous, right? That wouldn't fly today. That's kind of like a fishing hook. It's got a gorgeous Tiffany's blue color scheme, which I just love. Tootsie Toys have a unique, simplistic charm and allure. Highly collectible. There's books written about these toys. The earlier they are, the more detailed they get. The earlier ones have white wheels, and it's kind of like the later we get, the cheaper they get. And I do believe Tootsie Toy makes toys even until today. EJ, how do you remember all this information about this toy? Good question. Well, I've been doing, breakfast at Tiffany's, right? Breakfast at Tootsie Toy. I've been collecting these since I was a kid. This is my passion, along with music. So this is what I do for fun. I don't own a TV. Well, I do own a TV, but it doesn't work. I research things for fun. And what happened was I kind of hit the ceiling because everyone in my family or friends, I just kind of pissed them off telling about antique and vintage. I'm like, check out this antique or this vintage toy. Girl, like, shut up. I'm trying to watch TV. So I found all of you to share all this eclectic information from, and I'm learning from you as well. So it's a collective experience. Trust me. All right, what is this? Oh yeah, here we go. This is a slightly more modern Tootsie Toy Greyhound. When I was in the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, which is a professional big band, that's how Frank Sinatra got the start back in his 40s. I was in the same exact band, but in the early 2000s. We toured the United States on a Greyhound, and it was called the Night Train. It was an old Greyhound bus that was just us, our home. We were a 17-piece big band. I was 21. I was the youngest guy in the band. Buddy Morrow was the band leader. He was in his 80s. He was a rock star back when jazz artists were popular, right? So it was quite interesting. So he was in his 80s, and we were touring the USA. And every town we would go to, there'd always be these very attractive old women that would come up to him, and he used to date like Playboy models like in the 50s. So you get to see like these folks reminiscing of their youth, and I noticed that, and I was 21 during that tour, and we lived on that on a Greyhound bus. Never forget that. So here we have a color variation. Variations in colors are fun. This is the Tiffany's, and this is the, your white and red Tootsie Toy tow truck, probably from the late 40s, possibly early 50s, made within the USA. Simplistic and charming, nonetheless. Just like yours truly, EJ Parker, I'm your host, simplistic and charming. If you like this kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe and like. I do this stuff all the time. Digging through collections. Let's see what we got here. I did a series on cheap souvenirs, and I just found one. This is a Statue of Liberty, New York City, little coin purse. How cool is that? Check that out. Little coin purse. This has, I think, one of our fallen World Trade Center towers. So I mean, it's definitely pre 9/11. This is probably from, I'd guess, late 1970s. I like cheap souvenirs because it can really strike a nostalgic chord, right? When you travel as a youngster with your parents, or in your youth, or your teens, or whenever. Here we go. This is what the Dorsey Band bus looked like. When I was living in that bus touring the US when I was 21 back in 2001, it was a bus just like this. You lived on it, you slept on it. It was before the internet. So we just told jokes. I was 21, and it was like the oldest guy was 80. So I heard, jokes all night. And your coolness off stage was kind of dictated by the amount of jokes you knew. So I was really working on my jokes, and back then there was no internet, so it was all like your brain. It was like, I don't know. Jokes were like a bigger deal back then, I think. But we lived on the Dorsey Band. We drank on it. We smoked weed on it. There was like a little top you had to push up to smoke weed, and it was fun. Traveling through the night on the night train. My name is EJ Parker. I am your host. I'm a professional vintage and antique dealer. Go ahead and subscribe and like if you like what you see in here. We do this all the time. I am joined by the mod squad, some of the most gorgeous and talented mods in the world. Let's see. You think about the old days? What do you guys think about the old days? That's a good question. I don't know. I'm learning a lot from the past. I think we can learn a lot from the past that can help us in the future, right? I think there's lessons to be learned in the past, dating back to, you name it, the Romans, Egyptians, Native Americans. This is another slush toy. This is like a penny toy from the probably 1920s. Shofi saying, I don't even notice you look like John Wick. I notice now. So yeah, so that was I was messing around last night. I was pretending like I was John Wick. I had a toy gun collection. Kind of act like Keanu Reeves, kind of like, standoffish. Like what? A little fun fact, Keanu Reeves, his girlfriend is from the town over. His real life girlfriend lives literally 5 minutes that way. So if I walk through that town with my black suit on, I might just, get a free cup of coffee. What else? And I have worked with one of Keanu's friends. Karen Mock is a singer. I have one of our passes. She's from Asia. She is extremally famous in Asia. And I'm saying like magazine covers, TV, movies. I was her bass player on her tour, The Age of Magnificence. That was back in 2014. Karen Mock is an extremely hardworking, dedicated artist. As you go through life, you learn from others. You want to surround yourself with people that have been where you want to go, because they can give you context clues of how to do it, right? They might not tell you how to do it, but they can give you clues that you can plug into your life. So Karen Mock, we rehearsed, a lot, and we traveled together, performed together in front of thousands of people throughout Asia, and I was admired by her work ethic. She never gave up. The dance moves, we were always rehearsing to make sure it was perfected. So I really admire her dedication to her hard work, because when you see stars on TV or on film or whatever, you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. You can guess, but when you really do kind of see behind the curtain, it can be inspiring. But it can also be dissuading. That's why you need to be selective upon what you pick and choose to take from others along on your journey. Because my solutions for me might not work for you, but collectively we can help each other. This is a piggy bank shaped like a pig. I got this as a gift from my mother when I turned, I don't know, maybe 38. I love the color pink, and this just has this color is great. And I'll be very honest with you, I'm not even sure if this is authentic, because those of you who know, these banks are highly collectible and worth a lot of money. So collectors are not collectors. Like people want to trick people for money. So you can just kind of easily make a mold. It's not the most complicated thing to make, and bury it under the ground to make it look old and antique it. My point is, a lot of these are fakes or contemporary ones made to look old. What I think this one is here is a Norco Laundry, and I think it's like a bank. Yeah, buy Norco and save. If this is an authentic antique piggy bank from, let's say, the late 1800s, early 1900s, the banks would give them away as promos. So if you open an account at the E.J. Parker Bank, you would get a free gift to, like a promo. So I think this is a promo from a bank, which is great. I would love to get this from my bank. All I get are fees, right? I get fees. You went under a certain amount of money, so therefore you get a fee every month. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, this is a bank? Anyhow, so this is my bank, my piggy bank. This one, I just love it because it was a gift from my mother, and I just love the charm. I haven't really pinpointed if it's genuine or not. That's a rainy day activity. There's something in there, probably a coin. All right, let me have a sip of coffee. Hope you're enjoying your coffee or tea or whatever you're drinking. Along with me, yours truly, I'm your host, E.J. Parker. Here at Vintage Collecting Solutions, I am joined by the Mod Squad. I have some of the finest mods on the planet. I am extremely lucky, so thank you so much. This is a hovering ham vintage toy dump truck that is made in New England. No, pardon me. This is made in England by Old England, by Leslie. This is a hovering ham tipper. In the U.S., we call it the dump truck. This is a charming toy that I acquired from a local antique dealer. I love how it's got a little dump, so you can put like toothpicks in there, little kid, and have a little construction site. I love that kind of like that font, hovering ham. It's a toy from England, mid 20th century probably. Alrighty, let's see what else we got. So I like blow molded plastic objects. I am from the plastic generation, the 80s, 90s, where all your toys are made of plastic, and this is a blow molded penny toy car. This is awesome. This had to be the cheapest thing in the world. Probably came in some like a dime store, set. Probably like Dukes of Hazzard era, like late 70s, early 80s. But this is just like a cheap thing I got at a flea market. This is a blow molded toy car. It's 8 degrees here in London, Shofi. So Shofi is my London, my British based mod. So it's good to know where you are, mod. So it's good to know because I can ask you the weather. You may even have some more insight, I'm sure you do, to certain things that were maybe produced in your area. The mods, I think when it comes to live chats, because I watch live chats too, because I don't watch TV in my home, but when I do want to watch the news, if I want to get depressed, I'll turn on the news, like a news YouTube channel, a live feed, and those kind of get political, and the mods really have to get to work, I think, doing like disciplinary work, and that's a different kind of thing. On my channel, this is a safe space for any political spectrum. No matter your race, religion, we are here together to help each other. So I like how the mods can kind of help amplify our creative energy, not just be like disciplinary. How chats can get. You know what I mean? Troll's gonna troll, but who gives a shit? This is another penny toy. Another blow molded, cheap as hell plastic toy, which is transparent because it's so cheap. But I just love that old school cheap penny toy charm. And I guess you do too, because you are here with me. All right. What is this? This is a battleship. This is a swirl, a plastic swirl. Collectors love the swirl. So you vintage and antique dealers, or you aspiring dealers, whenever you see plastic like this that's swirl, collectors like it simply because of the appeal. What made that is just these cheap toys in the factories. The manufacturers would just recycle the scraps of plastic back into the vat. They would just throw it back in and melt it, and you would get these swirls in the color scheme, which is just, you know, eye-catching. And it's unique because every toy is a little bit different, which you don't see anymore. You don't see that anymore. So it highlights the importance of you being unique. You have to be you. Doesn't matter who your president is. Doesn't matter who your boss is. Doesn't matter who your mom or dad is, right? You need to be you. You need to let your light shine as bright as you can. Because when you do, you'll feel better about yourself and you'll inspire others around you and you'll make the world a better place. And we can do it together. And we will. Trust me. All right, let me see what else I got in this box of stuff. And thanks for joining. My name is EJ Parker. Go ahead and subscribe and like if you like what you're seeing and hearing. This is a mobile gas toy truck. It's made of metal. This belonged to my father as well. Believe it or not, this is from his one of his toys as a kid. I found this in a toy train box that he had in New York City. So this is like a discovery, a family toy. So this is not for sale, obviously. This says Dinky Super Toys, made in England, Foden. We don't make toys like this anymore. This is the kind of toy you see in your antique or vintage toy store. These cross over in the collectible world because you have a mobile gas company, so people that collect gas stuff, oil and gas, will like this. And of course, toy collectors and truck drivers. So there is a genre for you resellers. Truck-related items. Truckers have a very strong affinity for certain brands, like, you know, Mack trucks or whatever. So if you can find like belt buckles or even like vintage hats or like models from certain toy trucks, wherever you live in the world, those things will probably sell a little bit faster than you think, and they'll probably sell for a little bit more. Maybe fast is the wrong word. If it's an obscure truck company, get it, because there's someone looking for that toy or that item because they drove it or their dad drove that truck back in the day and their son or daughter wants to get, you know, a relic of that era to help remember a family member. That happens quite often. Let me see what else we have in this magical box. This is another cheap toy of the 1970s. A cheap, you know, like a rubber gorilla. Probably it's definitely got to be a knockoff King Kong. These are just great because they're cheap. And it's just, I don't know. I just like these stupid things because, I don't know. This one's made in Hong Kong by Imperial. So Imperial is a good company to know. Imperial makes a lot, and they made a lot of toys in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. These cheap rubber toys you would get at, like, you know, Toys R Us or Kmart. They're always on the bottom shelf. Probably the most famous Imperial toy, this is a little pop culture reference, is a toy rubber squirrel monkey that Kurt Cobain was obsessed with. Kurt Cobain was a singer from Nirvana. He has, if you look in the back of Nevermind, there is a monkey called Chim Chim, and it's got like this space backpack and like a headset. What that actually is a rubber monkey made by Imperial. And Kurt loved it and was obsessed with it, and he made like a backpack for it and named it and put it in front of a collage he made. That's on the back of an album that sold 75 million copies. That is an Imperial toy. So if you're a Nirvana fan, you can go on to eBay and actually find, it's called the Imperial Squirrel Monkey. It's about, I don't know, 12 inches long, and it looks realistic. It came in 2 color tones, a brown and a gray. I think Kurt's is more of a gray. But you can get those as just a vintage toy as opposed to like a Nirvana relic. You know what I mean? And once you have it, all your Nirvana loving friends will be very envious of you because you now have a Chim Chim. And then you can go ahead, and I even gifted one to a friend of mine. You can go ahead and make your own like battery backpack. Yeah, Laminar Flow, big Nirvana fan. I think we're related somehow, Laminar Flow. So it's like a weird obscure thing, but the back of that album, Nevermind, is an Imperial brand rubber squirrel monkey, which you could buy right now probably on eBay. And the price could be, I don't know, $20, $30, which is not that bad. Kurt had I read some books about Kurt Cobain. Nirvana really got me into music when I was 12, 13 years old. And, you know, these rubber toy cars got me into antiques. Kurt Cobain really kind of got me into music. I was playing trumpet when I was 12 in a concert band, but when I heard Nirvana, what happened was this. For those of you who are my age and older, can relate, and maybe those who are younger, this may be new. So MTV was a very big thing in the 80s in the United States. You would turn on your TV and watch rock and roll bands, hip hop artists, you know, become famous and influence, you know, pop music. So you'd watch MTV, and all the bands before Nirvana were like hair bands, very glamorous, big hair, like leotards, like spandex, and they had Ferraris, and like makeup and earrings. And as a 12-year-old boy in a small town, I couldn't relate to that. I just couldn't relate to that lifestyle. I didn't look like that. I didn't feel kind of glamorous. But when I saw Nirvana, now I can relate to that. These guys had hole in their jeans. They had Converse. Hey, so did I. And it just felt more organic. And I think a lot of us agree with that assessment because it just blew up. For them to become that famous before the internet era is something to think about. You know, to have that much thrust and interest in three people playing a bass, guitar, and a drum set. So let that be inspirational to you, because you know, I mean, a friend of mine told me that Kurt Cobain, by the way, he kind of put all his eggs in one basket. You know, he was working on Nevermind and thinking of that big picture before he even owned a home. He was putting his money into his music and trying to, you know, manipulate the system to help amplify his message. And you see what happened. This can happen to you. This is going to happen to me. We're going to do this together. We are here to help each other think out of the box and resonate our collective energy, right? Good things can happen. All right, so let me see here what I think I'm going to do now. I think I need to eat because I'm getting wobbly and lightheaded from all this antique excitement. So I'm going to, I think, thank all my mods. I have the best mods, my mod squad, the best mods on YouTube. I want to thank you for being here and helping. We will get in touch somehow, and we will make some plans. All my viewers, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. We'll be doing this again. My name is EJ Parker. Thanks for checking in.